Welcome to the show.
With Mike and Darin.
Welcome to the show.
We're really caring.
Come on to the show.
What are we sharing with you? You.
This jacket is dry clean only, which means it's dirty.
Welcome to Irritable Dad Syndrome. Insert funny joke here. Please welcome your hosts, Mike and Darin.
Hey, this is Mike.
And I'm Darin.
Welcome to Irritable Dad Syndrome, episode 107.
107. I'm so excited to be here. Something happened to me over the weekend, and I literally was like, Tuesday cannot happen fast enough to record this podcast.
Yes.
I am psyched out of my mind.
So you want to talk about that?
I do.
I want to talk about the new Lord of the Rings series. Is it still new?
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
I saw the first episode.
I haven't seen the second one. I've only seen the first.
So you and I are in the same boat.
Right there.
Yeah.
Yep. And we're going to spoil the first episode because whatever.
Right.
And then
we don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing that happened to me, I had a visit at the Walmart.
Okay.
And I literally, I drove home and I told my wife and kids, and I said, I cannot wait until Tuesday. So let's start the show right now. How you doing? Did you have a good Labor Day?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to welcome, I noticed on our Buzzsprout thing, I went through the stats, and I saw that we have listeners in Vietnam, Germany, and Norway.
Yeah.
So to all our there was one listener. It's like, I feel bad for the people, like the 48 people in Ohio who listen to the show, and I never call them out. But somebody in Norway, I think that's pretty cool. So, but what I want is a larger Norway audience.
Norwegian.
So, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to encourage our Norwegian friend to get more people to listen to Irritable Dad Syndrome in Norway. And then, you hear me?
Yeah.
We take over Europe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I recommend...
You should have been more excited about that.
Well, no, I am excited.
Okay.
This is me excited.
Okay.
What I recommend is, because you're editing, and you can edit all this out and make it look more natural.
I will make our audio podcast look really natural.
I recommend getting as much Swedish Chef as you can.
The Swedish Chef, we've been through this.
He's in Sweden.
He's from Sweden.
They're all the same.
He's not from Norway.
You put a Norwegian next to a Sweden, and you tell me which one's which.
Doesn't have any of the character, any of the class, any of the balls that the Swedish Chef had.
You know, in this day and age, this may be unwoke to say.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say all Norwegians and Swedens look the same.
Oh my God.
Swedishes.
Dude.
Are they Swedishes?
They're Swedes.
Swedes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Swedes.
They're Swedes.
I would move. Yeah. I would frickin' move. I don't care if generations of my family had defended my Swedish homeland from Norwegians.
You know what? Years ago on Letterman, they went out with the camera crew.
Yeah. And
their bit was, we're looking for Swedes.
What we have here now in New York City is perfect weather to play Let's Look for Swedes.
And Dave, I can't remember how he set it up, but he basically had said that we've hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
We've ran out of ideas.
That's right.
So they got in the car, drove around, and were asking people if they were from Sweden.
Yeah.
And they eventually found someone who was, in fact, a Swede.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't their greatest moment. Memorable, but it wasn't their greatest moment.
I've been to Amsterdam a number of times.
Yeah.
To me, they're all the same.
Yeah.
And walking around the airport, I remember when I came home and told Bess, I was like, I have never seen so many blonde-haired, blue-eyed people in my life. And I was like,
So this is how old I am.
Welcome to the show.
I'm 52 years old.
52.
And I, honest to God, went outside my house today to yell at a cricket.
I 100% understand where you're coming from.
This cricket got right outside my door. Beep, 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 beep. You open the door, it shuts up.
Yeah.
Totally shuts up.
You startled it.
Yeah, like, ooh.
You're cock blocking it.
Yeah. I got cock blocked a cricket.
I wish we could make that our title.
I closed the door, sat down, started doing some work again. Opened the door again. totally shut up. I would have killed it. I would have shooed it away, or I would have picked it up and carried it over to Gary and Nancy's yard. Give it to Chris Michael.
This is during the day.
Take this cricket. This cricket's driving me crazy.
He would roast it.
He'd probably keep it and then let Sadie eat it.
Call it Jiminy.
Yeah, which is a very original name for a cricket.
Aren't they nocturnal? Don't they mate at night? I
thought so.
I don't know. Is this a blind cricket? Did it have a little cane and glasses?
I didn't see it.
Okay.
But anyway, I closed the door and it started going for a third time. Eventually it went away. But a big chunk of my day was going crazy yelling at a cricket.
Yeah.
Irritable Dad Syndrome is proud to welcome our newest sponsor, Corbel Ice Cream. With more than 20 flavors to choose from, Corbel Ice Cream is perfect on a hot summer day. That also goes great on top of pie. And it's a soothing snack if you have your tonsils removed. Corbel Ice Cream, available wherever quality frozen dairy products are sold.
I used to have a cyst, this big white thing about the size of a pea,
Ugh.
and it was in the top part of my ear I learned something about the ear. It's called the helix.
The helix.
That's the upper part of the ear. A lot of kids are getting that part pierced way up at the top. You know, like where Spock has the point?
Yeah.
That's the helix.
Okay. So in an elf or a Vulcan, it would be called the apex.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. These are elf jokes. People try and keep up.
Highbrow entertainment.
Right. So for years I've had this thing on my ear, and it's bothered me. And I remember I went to the dermatologist once, and they had said that if you got a thing on your body, if it starts changing colors, if it starts getting bigger, if it starts growing, it starts cursing at you, then, So the last time I was at my dermatologist, I showed my doctor that, and he goes, he'd never seen anything like it, and he had also never seen anything like that on somebody's ear.
You don't want to show your doctor something they've never seen before.
That's exactly right.
That's how most horror movies start.
I asked him, I said, am I going to be a case study? Is this, And he said no, but, he recommended that I get it removed, and so I went in. And the reason why I haven't gotten it removed was because it was so big, and it was in that part of the ear. I was afraid when they cut it out, I was going to look like Evander Holyfield. Okay. I was going to have a giant chunk missing out of my ear. I'm not vain. Okay, I'm not ever going to be on the cover of GQ magazine.
Okay.
But I also don't want to spend the rest of my life telling people why I have a giant chunk missing out of my ear.
You don't want to explain things like that.
I know. Yeah. And I should have just asked him about it a long time ago because it was very simple for them. They made a little incision, pulled it right out. Wow. But the doctor and his assistant, they were losing their mind. Never seen anything like that. Whoa, cool. Is that a mixoid? I'm like, what's a mixoid? That sounds like a Devo album.
Isn't that Isn't that thing that stole the pizza at Domino's?
I think so.
Is that what he was?
that was the Noid.
The Noid. Okay.
The Noid.
Okay.
Anyway, I got it removed. They sent it off for tests, and they're
tests.
They're
going to run a mile in 7 minutes.
No, they're going to make sure that it wasn't something dangerous. Yeah. They don't suspect that it's dangerous or that there was anything, but they don't know what it was. They have no idea how it got there.
Yeah,
maybe. My two suspicions were years ago. A magician put it behind my ear and never got it out.
Okay. Yeah.
Also, that may have been the tracker that was installed inside me when I had my
by the lizard
my viruses when I was a child.
Yeah. Okay.
So those are like the two things that could possibly be.
Yeah.
Maybe something else. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that it's out.
Yeah.
And I got stitches in there now that are going to have to come out.
Okay. So this was recent.
Yeah. This is a few days ago.
I actually went to the dermatologist recently, too.
Yeah.
I had first time in years.
Yeah.
Got these little hemojammies there.
the hemojammy?
And they just barely looked at them. They just said, yeah, it's normal.
Yeah.
So I've reached the age where I look at something, I was like, I don't know if that's right. And the doctor said, that's just, that's part of you now.
Yeah.
That's on your arm now. That's part of your arm.
Yeah, I got freckles on my back. I got a big mark here on my arm.
Yeah.
And they look at it every time, and it hasn't changed. It hasn't changed or turned colors. So, but if it does, then I'm getting that son of a bitch taken off.
Right now, there are tons of people across the internet saying, damn, this is a great podcast.
That's right.
These guys have got something.
I know.
They are talking about crickets and body mold.
And mixoids.
Mixoids. Yeah. Jesus, what's next?
Well... Let me add some humor to this. My mom had to go to the hospital. Okay? So my mom was having really bad stomach pains, really bad stomach pains.
Yeah.
I took her to the hospital. She had to go into the emergency room, had to stay the night.
Oh.
3 people asked her if I was her husband. So either Mom looks really young or I look really old.
What's hilarious about this to me is that you look just like your mom.
Uh-huh.
You guys look like, I would say, you're obviously you're her son.
Yeah.
But if you were one of these people that just can't tell ages,
right?
Someone could say your sister. But
that would have been worse if they asked if I was her sister. Yeah. No, I'm her son. Yeah.
We don't want to assume gender or anything, but are you this woman's daughter?
No, I'm Darin.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was fun.
It's great that you could all join us in the stream in our final podcast. I had heard that it was episode 7 is supposed to be your last one. It's actually 107.
107 is going to be, yeah.
It's a lot of words to get through.
Do you think it's that bad? It's not that bad.
Is it? I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm off. I've been cutting out normal caffeine through the week. I go caffeine crazy on coffee on the weekend, and during the week I'm taking this stuff that has caffeine in it, and you're not allowed to drink caffeine with it. I take the weekends off. Jesus.
Are you drinking the Nitro Pepsi? Did you pour it hard?
No.
Okay.
So today was the first day back on this weird caffeine, so I am...
Yeah.
Irritable Dad Syndrome was brought to you by Diff Liquid Concentrated Wallpaper Stripper and listeners like you. Thanks.
Okay, so you watched the Lord of the Rings.
Did we?
The something with the
Rings of
search
Power.
for the ring. The Rings of Power.
You know what stuck out to me the entire time we watched that?
What's that?
They are really trying to make that good.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really... wow, they are putting some money into this Mo Scratcher.
Yeah, they were. They did.
I don't know about Doogie Howser as Elrond, but other than that,
That wasn't Doogie Howser.
I mean, I know it wasn't, but it looked like him.
Wait. Was that really Neil Patrick Harris?
No. He looked like... You remember Mad Magazine?
Yeah.
They would do...
Alfred E. Newman. What? Worry?
They would do little parodies of whatever movie was out. Mm-hmm. He looked like a Mad Magazine caricature of Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah. I remember as a kid, I bought the Mad Magazine with, was it The Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah.
And I don't remember but Chewbacca was...
please.
Chewbacca.
Oh, it was Chewbacca.
And it's a Ham Yo-Yo and Chewbacca. And I thought that was pretty funny. I used to love... The last Mad Magazine I bought had Weird Al Yankovic on the cover.
They had Sergio, whatever his name is. He was an artist in there.
Sergio Mendes?
I don't know if that's him or not.
Yeah.
But he actually had a spin-off comic called Gru, the Wanderer.
Okay.
That was a parody of Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
And the guy walked around with katanas, and he was a moron. He was an idiot. He had a dog that was always making fun of how stupid he is.
What's a katana?
Okay, please edit this out, because we're gonna get canceled if you ask what is a katana.
Okay.
The Japanese sword.
Oh, okay.
You saw
the Japanese sword. That's all you have to call it.
But yeah. Okay.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm not up on my Oriental weapons of murder.
Oriental's a unfortunate term these days. It's an Asian sword.
Okay, so I'm gonna get canceled.
We're so canceled. Thank you once again for joining us on our
this
final.
Has been Irritable Dad
final episode.
Yeah.
Anyway, how'd I get off? Oh, because we were talking about Mad Magazine and Sergio. Yeah. I had like thick books of comics by this guy. I loved him. Anyway, the point is, Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power is, I think, that's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
So we saw, spoilers for the first episode. If you haven't watched the first episode by now,
what are you doing?
Yeah. You got Galadriel, and she was what's her face from the original,
Kate Blanchett. Yeah, Blanchett.
Okay.
Yeah.
She jumps off a ship into the drink and swims back. I mean, she does more things than that.
Into the drink. Okay. And we tried so hard. I intentionally made this rundown. I've
I
got
know.
something removed off my ear. That'll be something worth talking about.
Welcome
no,
back.
turns out.
They had an ice troll.
Yeah.
And my favorite part of watching that with the family down here was when one of the elves yelled out, "It's an ice troll." Andrew from across the room said, "An ice troll?"
Hey, what happened?
Well,
Like-
you never heard about it, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a part of me wanted, because there was a cave troll in
Yes.
Fellowship of the Ring.
Yes.
And they're in the ice,
Don't
so
forget
it's an ice
the
troll.
Balrog.
Yeah, and the Balrog.
Yeah,
And, you know, like,
he was in the Mines of Moria.
it's like,
Uh-huh.
it just seemed like of all the things we'd seen up to that point,
Yeah.
the idea that there's an ice troll in this cave was way down on the, you
That's-
know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's-
okay. That's the hill you're going to die on.
Yeah.
Like, this is the weird part.
It's
Yeah.
like
Not to
watching one of
mention the elves that aren't really elves.
Yeah.
They're smaller than, what were those little things? Pixies?
Hobbits. Those were
sprites?
hobbits.
Those weren't hobbits.
Those were hobbits.
The ones that were popping up from underneath the
Yeah.
ground. Those weren't hobbits.
I think they were supposed to be hobbits.
Okay, they were
I'm gonna-
small. Okay.
Yeah, they were. I know what you're saying. They
Yeah.
look like something.
I thought they were sprites.
Okay,
Okay.
that's a drink.
Yeah, that,
No,
that
I know.
is a
I
drink.
know.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
anyway, the point is.
Okay.
The point is.
Okay. Thank
It's
God.
like
Dear
watching.
God, please get to
It's
your
like
point.
watching Superman. Superman.
Yeah.
He's invincible.
Yes.
Except for kryptonite, because they had to do something. Somebody said, "Look, you can't. He's going to win every fight.
Right.
And it's stupid.
Right.
You need to do something.
Yeah.
And, okay, we'll make kryptonite. But other than that, he can do whatever.
Yeah.
It's like watching a Superman movie and seeing him punch through a wall and saying, "Oh, come on."
Yeah.
You know what? You've seen him
Oh,
fly
so
through
he can
buildings.
see through things. Yeah.
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 So anyway, Kate Blanchett.
Blanchett.
But it's not her. It's
No. But she
Tracy
looks a lot, Ullman.
Morgan. Or
Yeah.
Tracy Ullman.
Yeah. It's, which I don't think it is.
It's Dakota Fanning
Yeah. That's
with a
no
wig.
Yeah. Huh.
And she's with her merry band of
Elves.
elves.
Yeah.
And they're going through, and they are right on the edge of getting to Sauron. I've
Yes.
learned how to. You don't Sauron.
Sauron.
With the Sauron is how they
Sauron.
say it in the movies. Sauron.
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 It's like Smaug in the Hobbit. My sphincter clenched every time they said Smaug.
Okay.
What?
There are people who do IT work.
Yeah.
And they are cussing up a wild streak. How dare you mispronounce
Yeah.
every single word in the Lord of the Rings?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're like, she's right outside where he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then the other elf, the next elf in charge says,
Yeah.
we're not going to do that.
He was,
We just killed this ice troll. And
Yeah.
they-
Yeah.
you know, actually, she killed the ice troll while
yeah.
they stood there and screamed.
Like, hey, what happened?
But I'm excited because it seems like this series is going to focus on Sauron.
Right.
Sauron. Is that who flew in naked at the end and landed in the pit? Is that him?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. But I really enjoyed it.
So I sent you guys a link. I did. I enjoyed it as
Yeah.
well, and so did the kids.
Yeah.
It's getting a lot of hate online, and then but my favorite thing is like all the hate is being answered by people. Jesus,
Stop doing that.
it's right where I move.
You know, I was going to send this episode to Shadow Stevens,
Yeah.
but no more.
All the hate of the show is being met by equivalent hate of "oh, you sons of bitches never
Yeah.
like anything," which
Right.
is true.
Right.
The most annoying person to watch Lord of the Rings with is somebody that's read the books,
Yeah.
or knows all the stuff.
Right.
I am so glad. I am so glad.
Well, I read that Elon Musk hates it. I'm like, who gives?
I don't care what he.
I don't care.
He hates normal names.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Like years ago, I heard that Wink Martindale was pissed off at some. I'm not kidding. Wink Martindale.
There's
got
not
his
somebody named Wink Martindale.
Wink Martindale, the host of Tic Tac Doe. He's a famous game show
Okay,
host.
all right.
Wink Martindale went public bitching about something that one of the political candidates was doing, and I said, "Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to wait and find out what Pat Sajak thinks first." You know, it's like, who cares?
Yeah.
I don't care what Elon Musk thinks. I don't care what Wink Martindale thinks. I don't care.
I think, but in terms of, it looks like it fits with all the rest of the stuff so far. I've seen the second episode. The second episode could have Newman come in and Newman. It could be weird,
Newman.
you know. But
Right.
it looks like
He needs the work, by the way.
as far as production,
Yeah.
and just
It's beautiful.
yeah,
It's
and
absolutely
I
beautiful.
think the Galadriel actress is amazing.
Yeah.
I like Elrond. I can't get past him looking fake.
Yeah.
And what's terrifying to me is I think that's what that guy looks like. Mm-hmm. Without the ears.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he has ears. I think he has ears.
Well,
I don't want to.
He had something removed, and now he does.
Yeah.
No longer.
He's got an apex instead of a helix, up there. And man, what a weird looking guy. Because he's supposed to be in the original Lord of the Rings. It's Matrix. It's Agent Smith.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like Agent Smith.
No, he doesn't. Which sort of takes it away from that.
But Gladhandle looks just like
Galadriel.
Galadriel looks like Blanchet would look in her.
Kate Blanchett. But now in high school, she was known as Gladhandles. I don't know why I didn't go to school with her. She's a little bit older than I am. Yeah.
Pixies.
Thought
they were pixies.
Sprites. Yeah.
I thought they were. I was the whole time I'm sitting there like, I don't know what that is. And then they go into the. They go in that village, and for like the first 5 to 7 minutes of them being in the village, I'm like, what were those things?
Right.
And I could have sworn I saw one of them walking across the screen. I was like, oh, it's part of them. And those are the brandy somethings. Those are hobbits. In that village, they're hobbits.
The brandy bucks.
The brandy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's them. So I thought the little pixie people were the same.
Merry of Merry and Pippin, he was Merriander Brandybuck, was his full name.
Yeah.
And then Pippin,
the other guy was a took.
Peregrine.
He was a fool of a took.
Yeah.
Full of a took.
Peregrine took.
So, all you IT people that listen to this show, pull over, because I'm about to piss all of you off.
You know, we'll do, since there are so many IT people listening, we'll do the rest of the show in Klingon so that they'll understand.
So, I've been watching some videos of people that are breaking down the history of Middle-earth. It's a 10-volume thing.
Yeah.
And the Silmarillion, which is what right after it's a trillion, it's million, billion, trillion, Silmarillion. Jesus. Again, it's been great. This podcast has been a good time.
These are math jokes, people. Try to keep up.
It's been a good time.
We've
had a good run.
I did enjoy it. Yeah.
And
we're doing the best we can with what we got.
I've listened to most of these explanations sober. That's actually backwards. Most of them unsober. Anyway, the point is, Gandalf. And so wizards are rare in this world. Gandalf is like one of 5 wizards, and then other texts say there's more.
Right.
And both of those things are written by the same dude, so I think you could totally just tell people if there's 5 or tons. But they're making a mythology, a lore, if you will.
Yeah.
So apparently, Gandalf and the wizards come from the same place that Sauron.
Right. They're from. I think they're from Bristol.
Yeah, and so there was a Morgoth, and they talk about him in the Rings of Power. Okay. He took his soul,
right,
and infused it in the land, in the earth, in the world.
Okay.
Sauron,
yeah,
infused his in the One Ring. So when you destroyed the ring, you're destroying his soul. The body was separate from the soul.
Right.
So they killed the body, but the soul was still in the ring. Gollum had to get all clingy,
right,
and jump in the drink with the.
You moved the tombstones, but you didn't move the bodies.
Exactly.
It's the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Morgoth put himself in the world. The whole world. Not just a little ring. So when he did that, he diluted his power.
Yeah.
So he became almost powerless, but he can never be killed because the elves, and they're called
elves can live. They're immortal, but they can be killed.
Right.
Like just live on their own. If all you do is sit on your ass and read comics all day, you will live thousands of years.
So there's
you go into a fight and someone shanks you.
Yeah.
And you get stabbed in the kidney, and you're going to die. You're going to bleed out.
So there's this race of beings, and I'm just going to call them whatever. I can't remember the name of them.
The Mirths.
The whatevers. And they had a council meeting. Mm-hmm. We can destroy evil and Morgoth forever. Because, by the way, when he infused himself in the world, that's where you got orcs, dragons, cave trolls, and ice trolls. And regular trolls, which we haven't had, just a regular, good old troll.
And then there's the Orakai. Those are nasty.
Yeah, those are the ones that Saruman Sauron bitch slapped into.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, they agreed, hey, we can destroy evil, but to do that, we would have to kill every living thing on the planet. And maybe that's not a good idea.
Let's go.
So Morgoth, even though he's mostly powerless, he's just there.
Right.
Sauron said, I ain't going out like that. I'm going to put it in a little ring. I'm going to be the most powerful evil being ever.
Yep.
But then he got all janky. They cut that dude with the Christopher Lambert.
Aragorn's daddy.
Sliced that thing off.
Yep.
And that ring fell down. The ring. The one ring, some may say.
Yeah.
The body died.
Uh-huh.
And his soul was in the ring. And then when they destroyed the ring, they destroyed his soul.
Right.
I think that's neat.
Yeah.
So a big piece. A big
2 hours. 2 hours. A full description. And I think that's neat.
It's caused me to start to read them again. I'm starting with The Hobbit.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to read through that, and it's different reading The Hobbit now because when I tried to read
better
it,
you than me.
When I did read it as a kid, but it was like they're all bouncy little dwarves and wizards, and look at this wondrous thing I can do.
12 pages to describe a tree. That's like I don't have time for
But
that. I don't have
now-
the mental capacity. I don't have the brain space to hold that. I don't have the time.
Yeah, now I've got all the visuals from the movies in my head. I can attribute those to
Yeah.
that, and I think they look cool, so
Right.
I just use those, and I'm having a good time. So my goal is to get through The Hobbit, get through all of the Lord of the Rings, and then read the Silmarillion, and then go back and read the history of Middle Earth. And I'm going to do all that before
you die.
dead.
Yeah. Well, again, let me sum up the movie as told by my mom, Dorothy Cox.
Yes.
This is how she describes the movie to anyone who is new to the Lord of the Rings. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Everybody wants the ring. Nobody can have the ring.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's it.
There you go. Lord of the Rings.
Irritable Dad Syndrome is proud to be associated with Newsly, the all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android. For the first time ever, the entire internet becomes listenable, all in one place. Newsly picks up articles about the most trending topics and reads them to you in a natural human voice. Irritable Dad Syndrome is available there too. You can find trending podcasts from more than 80 countries and digital radio as well. So stop scrolling and start listening. Download Newsly now. Just go to www.newsly.me and use this promo code 1RR1TABLEDAD and receive a free 1-month premium subscription.
Something happened to me at work a week or so ago.
Okay.
And I got really, really upset about it.
Okay.
And I almost sent an email.
Ooh.
Okay. Because I was pretty hot. Okay. I was getting really upset about it. And I'm glad that I didn't. And I'm going to tell you why.
Okay. I'm listening.
I work for a company and I produce promos for Antenna TV, classic television. Okay. I also do promos for Rewind TV.
Okay.
Now, Rewind has programs that are just from the 80s and the 90s.
Okay.
So I'm working on a promo for Rewind TV, and I write a script.
Yeah.
And I put all of it together, and I send it to my boss.
Yeah.
And my boss replies, "It's not working." and I sat back in my chair a little bit. And I'm like, "Oh, really? It's not working?"
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, do you want to get, a little more detail on what's not working? Do you not like the sound bites? Is the music wrong? Is it going too fast?
Yeah.
Do I need to slow it down? Am I taking a wrong approach here? Is it too loud? Is it too... What is not working?
Yeah.
And I started just getting like, really? That's all that is going to go into this critique of my work. And I had spent quite a bit of time researching and going through and writing. And I found what I thought were like perfect sound bites. And I found what I thought were like, I thought it was really good. Okay. I was pretty happy with it. Now listen, I've worked in TV since 93. Okay. I've made, I don't know how many commercials. I don't know how many promos I've done. It's in the hundreds. I mean, it's like you can't, it's hard to count. And I've had many, many, many critiques of my work.
Yeah.
And it's to the point where it doesn't bother me. Okay, you want to change this, I'll change it. You want me to move that to the end?
You're professional.
You're
professional.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like, tell me what you want me to do. Don't tell me it's not working. I'm getting really frustrated. And then I get another thing from her, and it says, I can't play this on my computer. Can you email it to me instead of send it in Teams? That's what wasn't working. She couldn't see the video.
So you got all pissed off.
I'm all flustered. And it's a really good thing. Look here.
Oh, man.
And then her next comment was, I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing I didn't quit.
Take this job and shove it.
I've done this for a long time, is you go ahead and write the email.
Yeah.
The pissy email. And then just don't send it.
Right.
And after...
Oh, no, I've never done that because I'm always afraid I'm going to accidentally
send it. Yeah.
Send it. You die, and then when they're cleaning out your desk,
they'll see everything.
Look at all the stuff that...
What the hell?
Mike had a bit of...
I'm not a buff-bellied, fat-tailed...
wingnut.
So I have another show I want to talk about.
Okay.
Ozark.
Okay.
I know you're not an Ozark guy.
I have tried.
So
I am a big fan of Jason Bateman.
Yeah.
Okay. I really genuinely like the guy.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I think everything of his I've seen. I've enjoyed Arrested Development. I was a fan. Silver Spoons. I was a fan.
Yeah.
He made a movie called Dirty Words where he entered a spelling bee competition that's for children only. Great movie. Okay. He was in a movie called The Gift. Great movie. Okay. Honest. Yeah. It's like, I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah.
I have tried several times to watch Ozark, and I can't get into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everybody loves it, and I cannot, and I try.
So we got into it. I got Bess into it eventually a while ago. And then she actually brought me back to it. Like, the finale's been out there for a while.
Yeah.
It's been over for a while.
Yeah.
And she would like, do you want to watch Ozark? I mean, I get it, you know, and I want to spoil plot lines, but this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. I get it.
Right.
I will say that you should give it another shot because as someone who loves Breaking Bad as much as you do, it's interesting to see things go in a whole different direction. There's very similar situations, and it's almost like they said, let's do this instead. Let's do this one. Let's do this over here. Yeah. I don't want to get too particular, but I do want to talk about the finale. I'm going to do this as much as I can without any spoilers, but you guys you've been with us this far.
As I say, it was over like 2 months ago.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, people may be like, I mean, we just literally finished it this past weekend.
Okay.
I will say that on the finale, so the finale of Breaking Bad, we were like, man, it's like you finished a great meal and you're sad. You're annoyed that you don't really know what happened to Jesse at that point.
Right.
And you really didn't know what happened to Saul. You didn't realize that you didn't know what happened to Saul, but you didn't really care.
Right. At the time, it never crossed my mind.
Yeah.
What's going to happen to Saul?
Yeah.
I mean, he went into witness protection, and that's all I needed to know.
But at the end of let's say finales, let's say 6 Feet Under is the top.
Yes.
That's the one we're like, wow.
Absolutely.
Done. Good.
And the worst of all time was Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we get to and say Breaking Bad is just really close to 6 Feet Under. Did you ever see all of Sopranos?
No.
Okay, so the finale for Ozark is very similar to the finale of The Sopranos.
Okay, they play a Journey song and then...
not a Journey song.
Okay.
But it is it's one of those that's meant to make you discuss it. Okay. And it will leave one person in the room saying, I know exactly what they were doing.
Yeah.
And that was me.
Yeah.
And it'll have another person, which is best, like, well, what were they trying to do? And then me tries to explain it and gets lost and doesn't know what he's talking about. I will say that it's very cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 I have tried it 3 times.
Okay.
And each time, and it's not just me, Libby watches it with me, and we can't seem to find anything that we care about with any of the characters.
Yeah.
Try.
Don't care about Marty? Don't care about Jason Bateman, the Marty character?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't.
How far into did you get?
3 episodes.
Oh, so they've made it to the Ozarks by the time you quit.
They made it to the Ozarks in episode 1.
Did they?
Yeah, that's why it's called Ozark. Am I right?
Well, they started. The show starts in Chicago.
Okay.
A lot of stuff happens in Chicago, and then they go to those.
Yeah.
Maybe they do like get their house and like walk out and be like, "Oh, here we are."
Yeah, they leave in episode 1, and then the kid's like, "Why are you taking me to this place?" It was like a bad vacation.
I will tell you this: having watched all of it, I think there's at the beginning. I think it is kind of rough because they introduce some characters and they do some things that's like, I don't know that this is. Yeah. It's like they weren't really finding their way. Once they really get into the drug cartel thing, it gets really good.
I don't know, but for me, I'm trying to think of how many shows I've watched that were slow getting into it.
Yeah.
That really picked in because almost every show that I've ever really loved, I loved it from the very beginning.
It's Breaking Bad.
Yeah. Breaking Bad opens up with
the
Walt
dude's in
saying,
his underwear.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This is not an admittance of guilt.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my hell, what the God, what's going on? And I was sucked in.
Yeah.
The very second that thing started, right? Yeah. Homicide: Life on the Street. The very second I started watching that show, I loved every minute of that show. I just didn't get it, and then I tried again. I tried a third time with Ozark, and I just can't get into it.
I will say that it is...
Again, I love Jason Bateman. I'd love to have him as a guest on the show.
Yeah.
And I apologize. Dude, I'm sorry. I talk to him about silver spoons.
I can do this without spoiling it.
Okay.
But, I told Bess one of my favorite things about the final 6 episodes or so.
Yeah.
There were so many times where the Jason Bateman character is like, it zooms in on him and something just outrageous just happened. I mean, think Breaking Bad, Hank getting shot, that level.
Yeah.
In like every episode. And in all of them, it zooms in on Jason Bateman. He's like, what the fuck? Yeah. It like ends and goes to the next thing.
Yeah.
It's that got a little hilarious, but it's a tough show to get through. It's draining.
And now it's time for Dave's Comedy Corner. They say a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. So if you have 4 birds in your hand, that's worth 8 in a bush. Come on, it's simple math, people. Thank you very much. I'll be here all week. This has been Dave's Comedy Corner.
Waka waka waka.
All right, this is what happened to me over the weekend that I could not wait to sit down here and tell you about.
Okay.
I told you last week that Cameron was doing a Rube Goldberg project. Yes. And I hate Rube Goldberg.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay. So we're going through the thing. Libby's been helping Cameron, and Jacob has been helping him. Again, I know nothing about this. I did make a couple of suggestions about the design of the Rube Goldberg project that were accepted and placed into it. So I did help some. We're still working on it.
You're still working? It's not due yet?
No, it's due like end of September. We started, we're not one of those families that starts at the night before on this particular farm.
Okay, yeah.
I needed some things.
Okay.
So Libby sent me out looking for dominoes and marbles.
Do they even make those anymore?
That's a good question.
Okay.
I looked online. And we could have ordered them from Amazon. They would have come in 2 days. But it said that they have them at Walmart. So I thought, okay, I'll go down to the Walmart and buy some marbles.
The Breaking Bad Walmart.
The Breaking Bad Walmart. When I first walked into Walmart, who do you usually see when you first walk into
Walmart? See the greeter.
Yeah. The greeter at the Breaking Bad Walmart is... I'm not saying he's old, but he's like 5 minutes until death. Okay, sitting there, and I don't have a problem with them hiring the elderly. That's fantastic. But if you're a greeter, say hi to people when you walk in.
Yeah.
He's sitting there staring off into space, into a corner. He's either waiting for death or his lunch break.
He's tripping the light fantastic.
Just whichever comes first. And I actually felt bad for the guy. I'm like, let him go home.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's making money. He's making bank.
Oh, yeah, he's rolling in it. So I make it back to the toy part, and I'm walking up and down the aisles, and I'm looking for marbles. I can't find them. Again, I see a woman and another guy. They are both Walmart associates. They're wearing the vests.
Yeah.
I reluctantly go and say, excuse me, I'm looking for marbles. Can you help me? And the woman says, yeah, we sell marbles. And she says, hang on a second. So she gets on her thing, and she goes, marbles. Comes up.
The hell would you have done if marbles just rolled into the aisle?
Fell down from the ceiling. Ow! Son of a bitch. So she says, they're on this aisle here.
Oh.
And she's walking me to the aisle. When the other dude looks at me, I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt. He goes, I like that shirt.
Okay.
I really like that shirt.
Okay.
And he's nodding his head up and down and he says, yeah, I like that shirt.
Oh boy.
And it's old school.
Yeah.
It's the original it's not an original shirt, but it's the original design. Yeah. And I said, yeah, it's old school Star Wars. I prefer that. And he goes, yeah, they used to cut people in half. Disney doesn't do that anymore. I'm like, okay. Let's go find the marbles.
Yeah.
So the woman is on the aisle and she walks over to where her phone, marbles, says the marbles are supposed to be.
Okay.
There's no marbles there. And she goes, well, would you look at that? Oh, no. Can you believe that? It says that they're supposed to be on this aisle, in this section, 18 bags. We're supposed to have 18 bags of marbles. Oh. There's no marbles here. Oh. That's bullschnizzle.
Wow.
That's bullschnizzle.
That sounds like what you yell at the end of a game of bullschnizzle.
Exactly. I know, right? I used to love playing bullschnizzle
that's
as a
bullschnizzle,
kid.
bong, and you...
Right. And so she's
everybody
like,
else has to take a drink.
Yeah, she's got her hands on her sides, and she's just like she doesn't know.
Full bullschnizzle.
She doesn't know what to do, and then she looks at me. She goes, "Do you like to play marbles?"
No, run, run away.
And I'm thinking, no, it's not 1956. I need them for, and I told her, said I need them for a Rube Goldberg project. Yeah. What's that? And I'm like, it's a science thing. It doesn't matter. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Then the dude who's still nodding his head up and down, looking at my shirt. I like that shirt. He says, what if you bought like a board game that came with marbles? Could you do that?
That's not a bad idea.
It's like, but what am I going to do? Buy Hungry Hippos?
Yeah.
And then use all those?
Yeah.
And then
buy like 10 of them.
Yeah. And I said, don't really want to do that.
Yeah.
And I was ready to go, well, thank you. And I was getting ready to walk away. And then they said, what? Have you tried Dollar Tree?
No.
Okay, so here's the question.
If there's going to be a place that has marbles.
Right.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask a question of them. Mm-hmm. If I had tried Dollar Tree and they had them, I wouldn't be here looking for marbles.
Yeah. Yeah. But you're in the Breaking Bad Walmart, so there's probably full of people replete with marbles that are looking for more marbles.
And so I'm trying to, and they're, like I said, they're being nice, even though one dude's going, he's looking at me. You know, in the cartoons where one cartoon character hasn't eaten in 6 days and the other cartoon character looks like a juicy steak. Yeah. That's how he's looking at my Star Wars shirt. And I'm like, thank you so much. And I'm just gonna go. And like, whoa, hold on. And she's looking, and she finds these decorative marbles. You know, I guess you can put them in a vase and put like a fake plant in, or you can put them at the bottom of an aquarium or something.
Those are no good for rolling. Right. It's not good rolling marbles.
So okay, follow me, come with me. And the guy's like, let's go look at these guys. We go to the decorative section, and sure as there's a giant thing full of, and now these are clear marbles.
Okay.
And I shouldn't have said this out loud.
Oh no.
But I was thinking out loud. I thought, I wonder if these are going to show up on video, because we're going to record the Rube Goldberg thing. Yeah. And they said, are they clear? Yeah. Oh, well, you could paint them. You could paint the marbles. Wow. Do you want to paint? It's like, no, I don't want to paint a bunch of marbles.
That screws up the integrity of the marble.
Yeah, then it doesn't roll. It sticks.
Yeah. You spent a lot of time in Walmart talking about marbles. I lost
my marbles going tomorrow.
I have a question. The T-shirt guy, did he have a buzz cut?
No. Okay. No.
Because I was thinking, there's T-shirt, like, I like your T-shirt etiquette. Like, I would say, hey, I like your shirt.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, or
maybe, where did you get that?
Yeah. And that's
If it's a concert shirt, then you could say, did you go to the show?
Yeah.
And yes, I did. And then you could say, well, Octung Baby's their best album.
Exactly. Yeah, and then you get into a fight.
There you go.
But I was at the gym. This is this past, what is this, September? It was in the spring sometime. Yeah. It was a while ago. And I was wearing a Pearl Jam shirt. Mm-hmm. And the way you said that guy liked your shirt reminds me of this guy came up to me and he's like, hey, man, I like that shirt.
Yeah.
And I was like, thanks. He's like, yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
Like, I'm gonna take that off of you.
He could have. I mean, he was a brutish,
It's like,
huge
you want it,
dude.
you can have it.
But yeah, I thought he was, and then he like smiled and nodded and stared at it, and then went back to whatever he was doing. He took it right up to the edge of, this is creepy. I'm gonna end up on a Unsolved Mysteries with Robert Stack, and then took it, and then it went back.
Speaking of haircuts, and this is unrelated to the marbles, I saw 2 people at Kroger and 1 guy at Walmart that had mullets. You can't seriously tell me the mullet's making a comeback.
Yeah. At Walmart, it never died.
But and then the circus show just kept going at Walmart. There's a woman, the person you hate who points you can use this register right here. Oh my God. That chick is standing there pointing to which self-serve lane you can use. She looked like Sideshow Bob from The Simpsons. Yeah. Half her hair was green, the other half was yellow.
Yeah.
Register 2's open. It's like, okay, God. And I'm walking out, and then the greeter is still alive, barely. Yeah. Still staring in the same corner where I left him.
This has been the Walmart Story of the Week.
I need to touch on the pointing out the registers item. It was at Target. I'm going to name names. Okay. I don't know names, but I'm going to describe. I'm at the Target. They had, I think, 20 to 25 registers there. Two
open.
Were being run by people.
Yeah.
There's a line of people into the self-checkout lane, and the self-checkout has 3 or 4 on one side and then like a couple of people there. We're in line. We're like 20 deep waiting for an opening for the automatic thing. Yeah. And there's a man standing there. As soon as somebody leaves, this one's open right here. I'm thinking, we have nothing to do but sit here and watch for the open register. Yeah. Why don't you take yourself and your register spotting abilities and go open up another register? You could knock out 5 or 6 of these people.
I would rather he work a register than point to the ones that, And I guess it's because they can't hire enough people.
Maybe
it's got to be that.
But if that's the problem, do you really need this guy out here as the register spotter?
Yeah,
the pointer, the
register bitch,
the look man, the lookout
dude,
the lookout dude. Yeah, I don't need that. The spotter, like a sniper, has a spotter right there. You know,
4, hit it 4. Jeez. Yeah, I don't know. You have a 3-level house.
Is it?
Yeah. You got the basement. Upstairs bedrooms. Yeah. Okay. Then you have your kitchen area, and then downstairs you have your basement. Okay. Basically laid out the way my house is laid out. Yeah. Can anybody hear anybody else in your house? No. Because nobody can hear anybody in my house. My oldest son, we've had his hearing tested. Yeah. Okay. He can hear. Mm-hmm. He goes into his room. And he's on the memes or the YouTubes or doing homework on his Chromebook or something. I'm in the basement working, trying to work, and I hear Libby yelling, Jacob, 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 Jacob. And then Jacob's like, what? We need an intercom. Oh, yeah. Okay, we need an intercom. And then she'll start, whenever she tries to get Cameron's attention, and Cameron can't hear her, she'll say, Cameron, Cameron, Cameron. And then I'm downstairs and I hear, I'm like, what? And she's like, I'm not yelling at you. Yeah. I'm like, we desperately, or we need to hire the guy from Target. Yeah. To go up. Yeah. And tap Jacob on the shoulder and have him come to the top of the stairs.
A useful service.
Yeah, exactly. Where your mother can hear you.
We had a problem with Andrew.
Or where you can hear your mother.
Our issue with Andrew, and it's gone away for the most part now, but for a good year, we had the issue of where one of us would be like in the yard and someone would be in the basement. Mm-hmm. And he would stand at the top of the steps up near the bedrooms and in this volume, I didn't hear. It was like a sixth sense. It was like a poltergeisty type. There's something amiss. And I'd walk around and I would like get within 3 feet of him and realize, how long have you been yelling? I've been trying to get you guys. Why? You got to project your voice. Exert. Yeah. You can't.
No.
Drove me nuts. Yeah. I did get a kick out of this the first couple times and then it became annoying. Charlie. So Bess would be upstairs in the bedroom or in one of the bedrooms upstairs, and I would be sitting in the kitchen, and Charlie's in the living room. You're familiar with their house.
I am, yes.
They're basically the same room,
yes.
you know. And he would start yelling for Mom. And she would finally come down and say, "What?" and ask her for a glass of water. He can get his own water. B, right. I'm literally in the kitchen. I'm like 10 feet away from all water sources. He doesn't bother to say Dad.
Yeah.
And it's not that he didn't know I was in there. He saw me.
Right.
Just starts yelling for Mom.
I guess he knows where his bread's buttered.
That's right.
Yeah.
I had a moment where I could have really advertised one of our items. I said last episode, I want to make venomous beaver a thing.
A thing, yeah.
A thing.
You were going to wear it to Megadeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still going to do that.
Okay.
So I went to Everybody's Records this past weekend.
I thought you swore them off.
I'm coming back to them.
Okay.
And I wore my venomous beaver shirt.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, that's a place to wear it.
Yeah.
Turns out it was.
Yeah.
I get a couple of things. I come up to checkout. The checkout dude is, you know how you can tell when people are looking at your shirt.
Like, yeah, I like that shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's looking at it and he's like,
kill you and wear that shirt.
Yeah. He's like, is that beaver? Venomous? Is that a venomous beaver? And I said, this is a venomous beaver. And he says, is that a real band? And I'm like, no.
Mike.
And then it gets worse. It gets worse. I said, and I quote, I have a podcast. This came from a bit, and we thought it was funny, and I've made a shirt. And he just laughs, and like he expected me to say more. But by that point, he'd handed me my bag, and I'm like, see ya. Yeah. And I left. I didn't give him the name of the podcast. I didn't even let him see the back of it that had the North American tour.
Worst. Yeah.
I am terrible. I should never be in any type of marketing or advertising.
Right, because you used to wear the Irritable Dad Syndrome shirt.
Yeah, and I would never talk about it.
Hey, is that what is that, Irritable Dad Syndrome? Yeah. And that is it. Now, I wore my shirt to Universal Studios.
Yeah.
And I was chatting it up all day long.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I like that. Because it was, in my defense, I thought it was funny.
We have some listeners in Florida that probably came from your visit.
Well, they picked us up from Orlando.
Yeah.
And I would say, and then Jacob would be like, my dad has a podcast.
Yeah.
And Cameron's like, my dad has a podcast. You know.
Yeah.
And that's how they. Oh, by the way, Mom, when she was in the hospital, she told two of her nurses, my son has a podcast. You know. We should be getting all kinds of nurse from the University of Cincinnati Hospital. And by the way, if you need to go and get medical care and you go to the University of Cincinnati, I approve that hospital because they have an Otis Elevator.
This portion of Irritable Dad Syndrome is brought to you by Otis Elevators. Hi, I'm your buddy Dave Lay, and for the last 2 weeks I've been taking the stairs. Why? Well, I'll tell you. It turns out that the hotel my wife booked for vacation didn't have an Otis Elevator. What the f***? I complained to the manager, but he says there really wasn't anything he could do about it. Regardless, I'll never stay in that dump again. I am brand loyal, and the only elevator I ever step foot in is an Otis. There's nothing like the feel, the smell, and the comfort of an Otis elevator. Being inside an Otis, well, it just feels like home. Now, back to the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The nurse... When you're a patient at the hospital, they roll you out in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Mom didn't need a wheelchair. She's like, I can walk. They're like, no, we're going to take you out. And we get in the elevator, and I notice that it's an Otis. And I look at the nurse, and I said, there's nothing like the feel, the smell, the comfort of an Otis elevator.
Yeah.
And she said, okay.
Okay.
And then I said, if you're ever in a hospital that doesn't have an Otis, you should take the stairs. And she said,
you've become one of those weird people that like tells in jokes to people who aren't in the joke. Okay.
And Libby is just biting her lip, trying not to laugh at me. I loved every second of it. It was great.
So we were at Wings. Is it Wings and Rings that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where Jacob works.
Yeah. He still does.
Yeah.
Okay. So he wasn't there that night.
Okay.
We were there the other night.
Okay.
And one of the things that Bessa's dad does that I think is hilarious is he will answer a question like he's mad, but he's not.
Right.
And I think it's absolutely hilarious. Like he'll answer it like you offended him even asking it.
Okay.
So I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example of exactly what I did.
Okay.
We're ordering our food, and we order wings. They always ask you if you want celery with the dressing
Yeah,
stuff.
with
They
ranch.
always ask you
Yeah.
that.
Of
They
course
asked,
you do.
asked everybody at the table
Yeah.
that, and she said, "Would you like celery with your things?" I said, "Absolutely not." And Andrew and Charlie kind of did what you did, and Bess did a little bit, and then she looked a little scared. And I was like, "Oh, that wasn't as funny as I thought it was going to be," because then the person
the in joke
is a little bit annoyed.
Right, they think that
I'm being
Uncle
that
Mike's
way. I doubled down. I can't say, "Oh, that's the thing we think is funny." I just held my ground. And she's like, "Oh, okay."
So to
right,
be
no
funny,
celery
you
for you.
pretended to be a
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it didn't work out that
Right.
great. What I've learned, what Bess's dad does that I didn't do, is he does that to people who know him and who will see that it's funny.
people who will get the joke.
When you go do it to strangers,
Right.
it doesn't have the same effect.
Right. That's why when I did the Otis Elevator bit
Yeah.
to a nurse, I thought worst thing could happen is when I leave, she
Yeah.
goes back and she's like,
He's a weirdo.
that guy wouldn't stop raving about our Otis Elevator. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, it's like the feel and the smell and the comfort, and
Yeah.
like I need to take the stairs, and
Yeah.
and maybe she's married. Maybe she goes home and tells her husband, like, do you pay attention to what type of elevators we
Yeah.
get in? And
Yeah.
because I was telling her that I'm brand loyal. I only ride Otis Elevators.
Oh, yeah.
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 Because then she just thinks I'm.
Yeah.
We're almost out of time, but before we go, a couple of things. A few weeks ago, we were trying to encourage people to download, go to Spotify or wherever they listen to music, and grab hold of Heart and Soul by T'Pau. And I'm happy to say that is now the #1 song in America. Thank you. And T'Pau, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to mention, we're going to do a new segment called Rejected Titles from the Previous Episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things we do with the patrons is they vote on the titles.
Right.
And most of the time we use what they voted for. Sometimes we use executive privilege.
Exactly.
Because,
So there were some episode titles that were in the running that you guys aren't going to ever see, and one was Be My Beer Bitch, The Equal Waffle Act of 2022, and I'm Afraid of Potato Salad. So if you listen to the last episode, episode 106, know that those were some episode titles that were rejected.
Why wouldn't a furry go to a Weird Al concert? I will be however you want me to be. With this one's probably going to be called Lower Your Expectations.
Yeah.
Oh, Paul Hetherington and penises.
Yeah. See, all good show time.
Yeah.
Last week we had too many.
We did. There were a lot of good
We had
moments.
way
in
too
last-
many to choose from.
Yeah.
And I want to mention that the comment that I made on the Lady in a Boat riddle has now reached over 4.7 thousand likes.
Which all of our listeners have gone and they've liked it.
Yeah. So, anywho, before we clear this thing up and seriously reconsider why we do this podcast, let me thank you for listening. Let me encourage you to go to irritabledadsyndrome.com and listen to episodes that don't suck.
Yeah. We've been here for 107 of these. You may have just come upon a night where we probably should have not done it, but we did anyway. I think this is going to end up being good.
All in the miracle of editing.
The miracle
if we can
of editing.
save that episode with that dude from the Letterman podcast, we can do anything, Mike. We can do anything.
Yeah.
Hey, when you go to irritabledadsyndrome.com, go and check out episode 104.
Yeah.
That's the best of year 2. Scroll back even further and listen to episode 52.
Best
the
of year
best
1.
of year 1, right? And then grab any episode in the middle.
Yeah, and don't think you can just wait and listen to one episode a year.
Yeah.
That's going to piss us off.
Yeah, gotta go.
Yeah.
See you next week
Bye.
on Irritable Dad Syndrome. You did a great job starting the show last week. Nice going.
See, here's the thing.
Okay.
Is I'm afraid people think things like that are bits. They're not. Episode 106. I still don't know how to start the show.
Right. Well, you can do it again tonight.
Okay. Hey, I'm Mike.
And I'm Darin.
This is... Okay. Let me do it.
Okay.
Hey, I'm Mike.
I'm Darin.
This is Irritable Dad Syndrome. I'm Mike.
I'm Darin.
No. Hey, I'm Darin. You're Mike. You're listening to Irritable Dad Syndrome.
Welcome to Irritable
Welcome
Dad Syndrome.
to Irritable Dad
This
Syndrome.
is episode. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
I can't believe you haven't fired me yet. Because you don't know how to get this online.
I don't.
That's
Neither of us can do the show without the other.
like the little...
It's like I'm the heart and you're the brain, or vice versa.
I need to quit drinking during these things.
Yeah. I need to start.
Would someone get that cricket to shut the hell up?
What happened? Hey, what happened?